Hare Krishna, thank you for joining this morning. Let's make a start with Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Giravardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Giravardhari. Shodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana, Shodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staktam Yena Bhutle Sam Rupa Kadameham Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajiyam Sadhvetam Savadutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Eshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pran Mami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tubrihescha Kitpa Sindhivevacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Dishtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Kadadhar Shri Vasti Go Bhakt Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mukam Koti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kripatam Vandeshe Gurundim Taranam Paramananda Madhvam Shaitanya Ishwaram Hariyam Tassat Narayam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Sasvitvya Tato Jemaduriya Nasta Presha Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nishtaki Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so we're starting on chapter 7 today. Son of the Throne Punished. And let's share. So thank you very much. Verse 1. Shonakavacha Nirgate Narad Sutta Bhagwan Badrayenaha Shutavam Stat Abhipretam Tatha Kim Akrot Vibhu. So Rishi Shonak asked, O Sutta, the great and transcendently powerful Vyasadeva heard everything from Shri Narada Muni, So after Narad's departure, what did Vyasadeva do? So Narad Muni, Narad Muni, he left Vyasadeva after having a long consultation with him, and now Rishi Shonak is asking Sutta Goswami, so what did they do? They're sort of excited. So what happened next? What happened next? So in this chapter, the clue for describing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is picked up as Maharaj Parikshit is miraculously saved in the womb of his mother. So they're going back in time when Maharaj Parikshit was saved. This was caused by Droni, or also known as, Ashwatthama, also known as Droni, Acharya Drona's son, who killed the 5 sons of Draupadi while they were asleep, for which he was punished by Arjun. Before commencing the great epic Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Shri Vyasadeva realized the whole truth by trance in devotion. So he's going back in time and just checking everything, exactly what happened, so he could write about it. Amazing. So let's see if we have anything we can mention on this verse. So by trance in devotion, also he understood from Narad Muni in a descending process by using intelligence. It's not possible. Okay. So Narad Muni had explained to him what he needs to do. So that's what he's doing right now. Okay. So text 2, Sutta Vacha, Brahma Nadyam Saswatyam Ashrama Paschime Tate Shamya Pras iti Prokta Rishinam Satra Vardhanan Vardhanaha. So Sutta, Shri Sutta Vacha said, Brahma Nadyam, on the bank of the river, intimately related Vedas, Brahmanas, saints, and the Lord. Sarasvatiyams, that's the river Saraswati, Ashrama, cottage for meditation, Paschime, on the west, Tat bank, Shamya Prasha, the place named Shamya Prash. Thus, iti thus Proktha, said to be, Rishinam, of the sages, Satra Vardhanha, that which enlivens activities. So Shri Sutta said, on the western bank of the river Saraswati, which is intimately related with the Vedas, there is a cottage for meditation at Shamyapras, which enlivens the transcendental activities of the sages. So for spiritual advancement of knowledge, a suitable place and atmosphere are definitely required. The place on the western bank of the Saraswati is especially suitable for this purpose, and there is the ashram of Vyasadeva at Shamyapras. So Srila Vyasadeva was a householder, yet his residential place is called an ashram. And ashram is a place where spiritual culture is always foremost. It does not matter whether the place belongs to a householder or a mendicant. The whole Varnashram system is so designed that each and every state of life is called an ashram. This means that the spiritual culture is the common factor for all. The brahmacharis, the grihasthas, the vanaprasthas, and the sannyasis all belong to the same mission of life, namely realization of the Supreme. Therefore, none of them are less important as far as spiritual culture is concerned. The difference is a matter of formality on the strength of renunciation. The sannyasis are held in high estimation on the strength of practical renunciation. So we give a lot of value to the sannyasis because they have given up everything. They have even given up their own lives. They do the yajna. They have completely surrendered. But that doesn't mean the grihasthas, brahmacharis, and the vanaprasthas don't have a place. There has to be a variety, and each of them have their roles to play. You cannot have all sannyasis, and somebody has to maintain the world, somebody has to maintain the progeny, somebody has to increase the progeny, bring over more souls, that so they can also self-realize and go back to Godhead. So it's very important that there is a, all the ashramas are there. I mean, even when Maya is sleeping, Lord Krishna, he's a little bit concerned, because at that time when there is no material creation, Krishna is thinking, oh, there's nothing going on, there's no creation. That means my children, my living entities, my little atoms are not getting the opportunity, the facility to get self-realization, get purification, and come back home, back to Godhead. So like that. So it's very important that there's facilities available so that more progeny can be brought into the material creation, and or at least in the human body, from the material creation, and get opportunity to go back home. Doesn't mean necessarily everybody is going to go for it, but at least they should have the opportunity, should be available. So if they want to, or if they're purified, if they have securities, they can start off the process. Or like on Sunday, we're going to have the Birmingham Rath Yatra. Many people will see, and they will get sukriti and purification just by seeing Jagannath in the street. So Jagannath will come out and give the people who don't come to temple, he will go out and see them, the shoppers, and say, look, here I am, try to understand me, and do what is necessary in this human body. So very nice. Okay, so it says that an ashram is a place where spiritual culture is at the foremost. Doesn't matter who it belongs to. Although Vyasadeva was a gresta, their foremost part of the culture is realization of the Supreme. So Srila Prabhupada explains that before, people would go to the sadhus. For example, Acharya went to see Vyasadeva in the Himalayas. Now the sadhus have come to the people to give their blessings and mercy, just like Jagannath does. Formerly, the number of people who were not interested were very small. Now the number of people interested now the number of people interested are very small. Vaishnavas, under the instructions of Mahaprabhu, should go door to door and preach Krishna consciousness for their benefit. Just like Srila Prabhupada, when he came to the West, the Westerners weren't going to go to Prabhupada for this benefit. He came to them and explained to them. So another example, Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, Lord Chaitanya went all over India on foot. This shows their compassion in extending themselves to share Krishna consciousness. So there you are, they did the extreme method of spreading Krishna consciousness. They're walking everywhere. They went to South India as well, and to spread the word and make devotees. Tasmin swa ashrame vyaso badri shand mandite asinopa upasprashya prani dadau manha swayam. So Tasmin, in that ashram, Swe on ashrame, in the cottage, Vyasadeva Badri is buried. Shand, trees, mandite, surrounded by asinha, sitting, apha, upasprishya, touching water, prani dadau, concentrated, mana, the mind, swam himself. In that place, Srila Vyasadeva, in his own ashram, which was surrounded by berry trees, sat down to meditate after touching water for purification. So under instructions of his spiritual master, Srila Narad Muni, Vyasadeva concentrated his mind in that transcendental place of meditation. So Vyasadeva sat down in meditation to write Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. To glorify the Lord, he had to realize the glories of the Lord. So he was like looking back, see what he could write about. Not just theoretically, but actually realize. He realized the truth in his trance. He saw Maya, Lord's external energy, under his control. So Lord is not controlled by Maya. Maya is controlled by him. And Lord decides when she wakes up, when she goes to sleep as well. It's total control over Maya. Text 4. Bhakti yogena mansi samyak pranihite male apshyat purisham purnam ayam chatad apashrayam. So bhakti, devotion service, yogena, by the process of linking up, manasi, upon the mind, samyak, perfectly, pranihite, engaged in the fixed upon, engaged in and fixed upon, ammale, without any matter, apshyat, so purisham, the personality Godhead, purnam, absolute, mayam, energy, cha, also tat, his, apashrayam, under full control. Thus he fixed his mind perfectly, engaging it by linking it in devotional service without any tinge of materialism, and thus he saw the absolute person Godhead along with his external energy, which was under full control. So perfect vision of the absolute truth is possible only by the linking process of devotional service. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita. One can perfectly realize the absolute truth, personality of Godhead, only by the process of devotional service. And one can enter in the kingdom of God by such perfect knowledge. Imperfect realization of the absolute by the partial approach of the impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma does not permit anyone to enter into the kingdom of God. So she now advised Srila Vyasadeva to become absorbed in transcendental meditation on the personality of Godhead and his activities. So Srila Vyasadeva did not take notice of the effulgence of the Brahman, because that is not absolute vision. The absolute vision is the personality of Godhead, as it is confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita 7:19. Vasudeva Samiti Samahatma Adurlabha. In the Upanishads also it is confirmed that Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, is covered by the golden, glowing Hiranmayena Patrena, veil of impersonal Brahman. And when that curtain is removed by the mercy of the Lord, the real face of the Absolute is seen. The Absolute is mentioned here as Purusha or person. The Absolute personality of God is mentioned in so many Vedic literatures, and in the Bhagavad-Gita, the Purusha is confirmed as the eternal and original person. The absolute personality of Godhead is the perfect person. The supreme person has manifold energies, out of which the internal, external, and marginal energies. So these are three types of energy of the Lord. The internal potency, external, and marginal energies are specifically important. The energy mentioned here is the external energy, or material energy as we know it, as will be clear from statements of our activities. The internal energy is there along with the absolute person, as the moonlight is there with the moon. So internal energy is part of the Lord, just like the moonlight is part of the moon. The external energy is compared to darkness because it keeps the living entities in the darkness of ignorance. The word apashrayam suggests that this energy of the Lord is under full control. The internal potency or superior energy is also called Maya, but it is spiritual Maya. Okay, so the internal potency or superior energy is also called Maya, but it is spiritual Maya, or energy exhibited in the absolute realm. So when one is under the shelter of this internal potency, the darkness of material ignorance is at once dissipated. And even those who are Atmaram, or fixed in trance, take shelter of this Maya, or internal energy. Devotion service or Bhakti Yoga is a function of the internal energy. Thus, there is no place for the inferior energy or material energy. Okay, so there's no requirement of material energy for devotion service or Bhakti Yoga or in the spiritual world. Just as there is no place for darkness in the effulgence of spiritual light. Such internal energy is even superior to the spiritual bliss attainable in the conception of impersonal Brahman. It is stated in the Bhagavad-Gita that the impersonal Brahman effulgence is also an emanation from the Absolute Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. The Param Purush cannot be anyone except Sri Krishna himself, as will be explained in the later shlokas. Interesting. So we're talking about the energies of the Lord, how they operate. And so only by devotion service you can realize the absolute truth. To glorify the Lord, you have to realize the glories of the Lord, not just hear but actually realize. And then only by devotion service you can realize the absolute. Vyasadeva saw Krishna, internal energy, which is Radharani. He saw the external energy. So when he's trance, Vyasadeva saw these things, or these personalities. He saw the internal energy, which is Radharani, and the external energy, which is Durga, or known as Maya. And margin energy, the jivas. So he could see all the Lord's energies, plus the Lord himself. Different incarnations, plenary portions. We take shelter of Radha and Krishna. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam where Shri is Radha. Shri Mad Bhagavatam. So Shri is actually Radha herself. Maya means the external energy. Just if you stand facing the sun, the backside or behind you is a big shadow. That is Maya. So it's like that Krishna is standing and behind him his shadow is the Maya, the external. Maya Devi always stands behind Krishna. She is his shadow. Vyasadeva saw these in the mood of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Jigona Manasi. Bhakti can mean bhaj, give and take, giving in love, taking in love. He saw confidential loving pastimes. So Vyasadeva literally incarnation of the Lord. He can, he has the potency to go into trance, and he saw all these energies, Lord Krishna. So this before he's about to write, he's sort of gathering all the information and all the necessary information that he will need, so he can really appreciate it. When he writes, he can appreciate it. He can write from the heart, not just mundane writing. He have realized it. He will be writing it from the heart. So yaya samhito jiva atmanam trigunatmakam paropi manyate nartham tatkritam chabi padyate. So yaya, by whom, samohitha, illusion, jibha, the living entities, atmanam, self, triguna atmakam, conditioned by the three modes of nature, or a product of matter, Parha, transcendental, api, in spite of, manyute, takes it for granted, anartham, things not wanted, tat, by that, kritam cha, reaction, abhi padyate, undergoes thereof. So due to this external energy, the living entity, although transcendental to the three modes of material nature, that's us, thinks of himself as a material product and thus undergoes the reactions of material miseries. So because we are here in the material world, we're so close, we are touching material energy. We are enclosed within material energy. See, material energy is all around us. We are in the material world, in the material universe of many universes. We are inside a material body, so naturally we consider ourselves to be a material product. It's understandable that what else would you think you are? You think you're a material product because material energy is all around us. So the root cause of suffering by the materialistic living beings is pointed out with remedial measures which are to be undertaken, and also the ultimate perfection to be gained. All this is mentioned in this particular verse. The living beings is by constitution transcendental to material engagement. We are superior energy, but he is now imprisoned by the external energy. Now how does that happen? Somebody weaker than you, inferior than you, can imprison you. And therefore he thinks himself one of the material products. And due to this unholy contact, the pure spiritual entity suffers material miseries under the modes of material nature. So we are holding on to material life and material energy. We are suffering, but we refuse to let go of the material. It's like you're grabbing at something, it's giving you a shock, just a mild shock, say, but you're still holding on to it. Why? The living entity misunderstands himself to be a material product. This means that the present perverted way of thinking, feeling, and willing under material condition is not natural for him, because now we're letting the mind, which is material, we're letting the mind do the thinking, feeling, and willing, whereas actually it should be the soul, the spiritual soul that should be doing the thinking, feeling, and willing. But because we are enclosed in the material body, the soul thinking, feeling, willing is sort of dormant. Like the mind is doing all the work, and in the mind is material mind, so he's thinking in a material way. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad-Gita that the actual knowledge of the conditioned soul is now covered by nescience. Thus, the theory that a living being is absolute impersonal Brahman is refuted here. This cannot be, because the living entity has his own way of thinking in its original unconditional state also. The present conditional state is due to the influence of the external energy, which means that the illusory energy takes the initiative while the Supreme Lord is aloof. The Lord does not desire that a living being be illusioned by external energy. The external energy is aware of this fact, but still she accepts a thankless task of keeping the forgotten soul under illusion by her bewildering influence. And this all comes down to our desires, as we have been discussing last few times, that it all comes down to our desires. The Lord is not happy that we are suffering. Although suffering views there, it's automatic. The Lord is not happy that we're suffering. Mahadevi is not happy that we're suffering. But yet we are suffering because we refuse to let go. And her task is thankless. She's a devotee, she's doing her service, and it's a thankless service. It's like, actually, let's not compare. Okay. So the Lord does not interfere with the task of illusory energy, because such performances of the illusory energy are also necessary for reformation of the conditioned soul. An affectionate father does not like his children to be chastised by another agent. Yet he puts his disobedient children under the custody of a severe man just to bring them to order. Sometimes they say, if your teenagers are naughty, then send them, send them to the army for discipline. they can discipline if they send them back, make men out of them. Yet he puts his disobedient children under the custody of a severe man just to bring them to order. But the all-affectionate Almighty Father at the same time desires relief for the conditions. So the Lord hopes that we straighten our ways and relief from the clutches of the illusory energy. So the illusory energy is compared here to the custody of a severe man. The king puts the disobedient citizens within the walls of the jail, but sometimes the king, desiring the prisoners' relief, personally goes there and pleads for reformation, and on his doing so, the prisoners are set free. Similarly, the Supreme Lord descends from his kingdom upon the kingdom of the illusory energy and personally gives relief in the form of the Bhagavad-Gita, wherein he personally suggests that although the ways of illusory energy are very stiff to overcome, one who surrenders onto the lotus feet of the Lord is set free by the order of the Supreme. So that's the Lord's mercy. This surrendering process is the remedial measure for getting relief from the bewildering ways of the illusory energy. The surrendering process is completed by the influence of association. So the association is very important. The Lord has suggested, therefore, that by the influence of the speeches of 70 persons who actually realize the Supreme, conditioned souls are engaged in his transcendental loving service. They get a taste for hearing about the Lord, and by such hearing only are they gradually elevated to the platform of respect, devotion, and attachment for the Lord. And these seem like simple things, but yet we don't follow them. We don't have respect, we don't have devotion, and definitely don't have attachment for the Lord. And that's all the Lord, that's all a father wants. He wants a bit of respect, wants a bit of devotion, and his children to be a little bit attached to him because he's the father. So if in material life, if that's like that, then imagine our eternal Father. Why? Because everything we feel comes originally from the Lord's feeling himself. We have that little bit, and so the Lord wants a bit of respect, a bit of devotion, a bit of attachment. The whole thing is completed by the surrendering process. Herein, so this is how we prove our devotion, respect, and attachment by surrendering our gross body and our subtle body as well. Herein also the same suggestion is made by the Lord in his incarnation of Vyasadeva. This means that the conditioned souls are being reclaimed by the Lord both ways. And which are they? Namely, by the process of punishment, by the external energy of the Lord, and by himself as a spiritual master within and without. So two ways he's helping us. So we're getting some kind of punishment, and yet also there's spiritual master there to show us and guide us from within as the super soul and out as the spiritual master. Very nice. Within the heart of every living being, the Lord himself as the super soul, Paramatma, becomes the spiritual master, and from without he becomes the spiritual master in the shape of scriptures. Saints and initiators, spiritual master. This is still more explicitly explained in the next shloka. So personal superintendence of the illusion energy is confirmed in the Vedas, the Kaina Upanishad, in relation to the demigods controlling power. Herein also it is clearly stated that the living entity is controlled by the external energy in a personal capacity. The living being, thus subject to the control of the external energy, is differently situated. It is clear, however, from the present statement of Bhagavatam that the same external energy is situated in the inferior position by the personality of Godhead, or the perfect being. The perfect being or the Lord cannot be approached even by the illusory energy, who can only work on the living entities. So no control over the Lord. Therefore, it is sheer imagination, the Supreme Lord is illusioned by the illusory energy and thus becomes a living being, as many believe like that. If the living being and the Lord were in the same category, then it would have been quite possible for Vyasadeva to see it, and there would have been no question of material distress or the part of the illusion being, for the Supreme Being is fully cognizant. So there are so many unscrupulous imaginations on the part of the monists to endeavor to put both the Lord and the living in the same category. So we're all God, according to them. Had the Lord and the living beings been the same, then Srila Sukadeva Goswami would not have taken the trouble to describe the eternal pastimes of the Lord, for they would all be manifestations of the illusory energy. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the summum bonum remedy for suffering humanity in the clutches of Maya. Srila Vyasadeva, therefore, first of all, diagnosed the actual disease of the conditioned soul, i.e., there being illusion by the external energy. He also saw the perfect Supreme Being, from whom the illusory energy is far removed. So he saw both the diseased conditioned souls and also the cause of the disease. And the remedial measures are suggested in the next verse. Both the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the living beings are undoubtedly qualitatively one, but the Lord is the controller of the illusory energy, whereas the living entity is controlled by the illusory energy. So even though we're spiritual, we really don't have that much power. We just qualitatively spiritual. We don't have the Lord's power. Thus, the Lord and the living beings are simultaneously one and different. Another point is distinct herein: the eternal relation between the Lord and the living is transcendental. Otherwise, the Lord would not have taken the trouble to reclaim the conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya. In the same way, the living entity is also required to revive its natural love and affection of the Lord, and that is the highest perfection of the living entity. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam treats the conditioned soul with an aim to that goal of life. So Vyasadeva wrote the Vedas, Upanishads, so much writing he did, but actually now he's really diagnosing the problem. What should I have really done? What have I done? What really should I have done? And why should I have done it? Now he's gone into trance. If he had done that earlier, he would have gone straight on to this. But by guidance of Srinath Muni, now he's doing his investigation. He's really going deep into investigation. That where is the problem? Why I have gone into so much trouble writing the Vedas, and yet they have been at least partially rejected. Why is that? Where is the problem? So now he's seen everything that okay, so I'm giving the wrong remedy to the people. The remedy I'm giving, it makes it doesn't help. It makes things worse. So I need to give the right medicine for that. And now it's found the medicine is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So actually I'll leave it here. Yeah, I think we mentioned most of the things. And it says here, just quickly, what's that disease? Unholy engagement in material nature, being illusioned by the external energy. So that's our disease. That's where we are stuck right now. We are shackled. We can't open those shackles ourselves. What's the remedy? A remedy is the surrendering process, which is completed by the association of saintly persons and associating with Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So thank you so much. So we've discussed all the energies of the Lord and what's the problem and what Vyasadeva is going to do about it. So it's very nice, and I would love to hear from everyone. Okay, Hare Krishna. And we'll start with Sureshi Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
And in the first text, it's mentioned about Maharaj Parikshit, and he was saved by Supreme Lord in the womb of his mother. Well, no, in this world, nobody can kill anybody if he's protected by the Supreme Lord. And nobody protect anybody if it's killed by Supreme Lord. We have the example is even Prahlad Maharaj was protected by Supreme Lord, so nobody could kill him. He never, when he tried, Hiranyakashipu tried so many ways, and nobody could Hiranyakashipu of dying because the Lord killed him. So if we surrender to Krishna, and then Krishna protects you. And ashram, here is mentioned ashram. Ashram means like, I think the Thomas Sindhi ashram means where you practice your spiritual life, spiritual knowledge. So you can make home ashram and practice like we doing it in the worship and reading Bhagavatam, and at the same time, if you go to the temple, that you can practice there and associating with devotees. And but ashram is where you are, place where you practice spiritual life. And it's always mentioned in Bhagavad-Gita and Bhagavatam about Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, nothing is higher than Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is higher than Dhyan or Dhyan Yoga. Dhyan Yoga, they're okay, but they're stepping stones to climb to Bhakti Yoga. One can only know Krishna by Bhakti Yoga. By Dhyan Yoga and Dhyan Yoga, you know, but you can't, you know Krishna, but you can't understand Krishna. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, one can understand him as I am, the Supreme Personality of God, only by devotional service. And when one is in full conscious of me by such a devotion, then he can enter into the kingdom of God. So he clearly said it, that only you can understand Krishna only by Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, not by Jnana Yoga or Dhyan Yoga. And instead of controlling our senses, we should control our senses. But the other way around, the senses control us. Whatever the senses want, we go with the senses. If you see anything nice, we go that it is nice. Even if sometimes you don't need things, but when you see, you just feel like you're not having it. So we can't control our senses. And those who can control the senses, they are called Goswamis. They can control the senses that are high devotees or spiritual masters. They are Goswamis, they call. But those who are controlled by the senses are Brahmadi. Most of us, about 90% people are Brahmadis, not Goswamis. That become very hard to control the senses. And the living entity are part and parcel of Supreme Personality of God, and they are transcendental because our soul is a marginal energy of Krishna. But when we get contacted with three modes of material nature, we get conditioned, and condition means that we act according to our material nature, and then we start identifying our bodies and get illusioned. We think we do that thing, we think the body will gonna last forever. That is illusion, and that is called Maya. So we've got this material body given because of our past karma. Krishna has given this material body. So we should use our material body that in the service of the Lord. As much we can, we try to use our material body by using our senses to satisfy Krishna. And that's how we can get verified. And that's what Bhagavad-Gita and Bhagavatam just teaches about our senses, our body, that material body is temporary, soul is there. So how can get rid of our body? So only means is bhakti yoga, and it's Bhagavatam is bhakti yoga, all full of bhakti yoga. In Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna tells us, but here the devotees, they practice. And that's why we have to practice. We have to follow the footsteps of the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Hina Mataji, would you like to go next?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna everyone. Yes, and very nice summary that has been made through these verses. And it seems like the issue is that, and what's been trying to be explained here is that conditioned souls associate themselves with the material world and the material body. I sometimes compare it to like being in a virtual reality where we're in a video game or something like that, and we're playing a game and we end up associating with the characters in the game, and we ourselves have a different kind of a character within that game, and it's not our true identity or our true position in the game. So the verse also nicely explained how almost like conditioned souls, almost like delinquent souls, they're here like ourselves because we want to enjoy independently to the Lord, and we've received some grace, some mercy along the way, which is fantastic. But our role now is as devotees is to help rescue as many souls as we can by spreading the glories of the holy name, glories of the Lord, and illusions. Conditioned souls have simply forgotten their true identity and their relationship to Krishna. So, and that's that's where we've got a role to play to help kind of help them and help with this movement in that way. So that was everything from me. Thank you so much, Krishna.
Very good. Because when we are helping the Lord, we are demonstrating that we want to preach, we want to help people, we want to distribute books. And Krishna realizes that, oh, so you're helping me, so I should empower you. Like even in material life, when you're doing a service, they send you some working for a company, they'll send you to do some course or something like that. They'll pay for it because you were doing a certain task. They want you to get really good at it. So it seems like Krishna will also help us when he sees that I'm doing something for his benefit. He'll help us to get better and better at that, empower us so we can really help other people like he would like us to, and also at the same time help ourselves as well. So very good. Thank you, Mataji. Purnikash Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna everyone. Yes, that's it. My humble obeisances. Yeah, I mean, there are so many points again on these 5 verses, Prabhuji. Like, Srila Prabhupada reiterates the point that not everybody need to become a sannyasi. Everybody has to work according to their nature and their qualities. So in Bhagavad-Gita, we have this Chaturvarna Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So according to one's qualities and nature, Lord has divided this into 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. And also there is one sloka where Lord says, better to do your own work, even though imperfect, rather than trying to copy another person's work and try to copy another person. So one can really control his anxiety when he work according to his own nature, rather than trying to copy other people. So definitely for spirituality, we need the atmosphere to be that suitable. And if we are not engaged in something which is not out of our nature, then we can remain peaceful and not having anxiety as such. And then we can follow our varna and ashrama and work according to our own varna and ashrama then. And there is no varna and ashrama which is higher or lower as such. Everybody have their own, the same duty, which is realizing, self-realization and going back home to Godhead. And everybody need to work together for reaching that goal. And in the last text, many points are mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. I especially like that point where a father keeps his child under control, though he doesn't like to put him under the control of somebody else. So Krishna put us everybody under the control of Maya. But again, Krishna doesn't like us to be under the control. So he also provides the facilities again for us to come back. So he has given scriptures to us. He has given sending spiritual master. And so Prabhupada mentioned in the two ways. One is Maya. He is trying to control us, put us, because it is us we want to forget Krishna. So he is giving that facility also. But at the same time, he don't want to leave us. That's why he is sending spiritual master who can give that guidance so that we can go back home, back to Godhead. So yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. Without the assistance of spiritual master, we cannot go back. We have to seek the guidance of spiritual master. Even Srila Vyasadeva, he is following the instructions of Sri Narada Muni, and then he started meditating, and then he is realizing in the trance, he is realizing what is the situation of the people going forward, and how can actually make best for them, what best knowledge I can give them so that they can go back home, back to Godhead. Yes, Lord has different energies, external Maya and internal Maya. I was listening to a class of Raju Vihari Prabhu today, and where he was saying that why Krishna played this pastime of playing with Gopas and everybody, and they are sitting on him, he is sitting on them, he is taking his food, everything. Why he is doing all these things? And so he was saying that, I mean, Krishna, he himself want to be under and I mean, not to remember himself as a god, because once he thinks himself as a god, he cannot have that kind of interaction with everybody. So he is using his internal potency so that he can be he can forget, but at the same time he remember as well. So he, being a super soul, he know everybody and everybody's in the intention, but at the same time he also don't realize that Mother Yashoda is standing behind the curtain holding a stick for him. So he himself want to be under that Maya so that he can develop that love for, I mean, he can interact with them with no barrier as such. That's all, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Krishna, he doesn't always like to be God. He doesn't want to be, superior. He wants to be one of the, one of the Gopas, and he wants a mother, he wants a father. He doesn't want always the higher God-fearing, kind of authority to them. So yeah, so sweet. And especially when Krishna comes as himself, his pastimes are the sweetest. Hare Krishna, Kiran Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Everybody has said such lovely things. There's not a lot I can reiterate or reinforce, other than just to say that Ved Vyas was such an elevated soul. He came from such an elevated lineage. However, Narad Muni was able to tell him there were some flaws in what he had put together. And so let this be a lesson to all of us that our egos can be bigger than our being. And so even Ved Vyas took guidance from the eternal time traveler, and then he distilled together the perfect Purana. And that perfect Purana tells us that, yes, there were some flaws in my initial approach. Let me now give the antidote, the medicines for escaping this encagement of the soul. And Srila Prabhupada was a pharmacist, and Ved Vyas gives us the antidote. These are all kind of remedies from such great elevated people to show us the way back home. And we need to take guidance. We need to take the prescription from these people who are not just individuals. They are, selected by the divine. Just as we are selected by the divine to be on this call this morning. there is a system that comes together to put elevated souls to the next level. So there are escapes, punishments, and rewards. And we know we make mistakes because we are controlled by Maya. The spirit, the material energy is engaged in our internal, our external, and our spiritual lives. But it's learning how we surrender to the will of the divine. The prescription, the shastras are given to us so that we can escape this realm of birth, old age, disease, and death. We can have permanent dance and grace with the divine if only we can learn that let's get out of this mundane rat race. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Vyasdeva was literally incarnation of the Lord. He wouldn't really, I think, if he had gone in trance, he would have already realized exactly what's required. But he also demonstrated the necessity of a spiritual master, and he wanted to glorify Narad Muni as well. Narad Muni is glorified all throughout Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and Vyasdev glorifies Narad Muni by following his instructions, by hearing his instructions. So, it just shows the need for a spiritual master and to glorify the spiritual master. Thank you. Thank you, Suresh Prabhu, for joining. I'm sure you're driving, so we'll get Radha Rani to say something.
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. I hope you are all well. It's wonderful to make a start on chapter 7 today, and to just these 5 verses have given us, each time a chapter starts, we used to say in the beginning of Bhagavad-Gita, setting the scene, the first chapter was called. I was thinking that every time a chapter begins in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the scene is set for the chapter. So many wonderful realizations from all of you. And we were reminded again in these verses by Srila Prabhupada, the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. People say that Srimati Radharani is missing from Bhagavatam. She's only mentioned in 1 or 2 shlokas in the whole Bhagavatam. But she's there in the title, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Who is Shri? Shri is Srimati Radharani. So who is Shri? Shri is the internal potency of Lord Shri Krishna. So wonderful that Prabhupada, sometimes some people complain that purports are monotonous and many points are reminded again and again. But these scriptures are so big, long and extensive. Prabhupada has to rewrite, some words now and then just to, jog our memories, because our memories are so little that what we read this morning, by the end of the day, many times when we try to, recall some points, we have forgotten. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for this wonderful service you have done to the humanity, to the Kali Yuga, and also how nicely it's been reminded to us that in any kind of ashram we are in this life, among the 4 varnashrams, we can be of service to Lord. We can help the Lord in his mission. Like the Pandavas, they helped Lord in his mission. So we all can be kind of Pandavas to Krishna in our own situation, wherever we are, whichever ashram we are, whether it's Grihastha ashram, Brahmacharya ashram, Vanaprastha or Sannyas ashram. So there's no need to think that we have been given less faculties, our minds are little, our resources are less, our ashram is as such, we are stuck in it. So we have been reminded again that whichever ashram we are, we can be of a huge help. Just like, remember that squirrel, how she was helping Lord Ram, and when Hanumanji just laughed looking at those squirrels, how Lord Ram reminded the importance of those little squirrels and their little stones. They were the pebbles, not stones, the little pebbles they were trying to gather in that building of the Rameshwaram bridge. And also another thing which I really liked, which all of you have mentioned as well, is that how Lord is reclaiming us in two ways. Srila Prabhupada reminds us in many purports, and in one of the purports here, what we have read today is saying he's reclaiming us from within as Paramatma he's claiming us. So he's in all of us. He's just waiting, sitting on the tree silently, just watching that when our Atmas will realize that we are not these bodies, we are the Atmas. So from within he's claiming us as Paramatma, and from without he's claiming as spiritual master. So if we are initiated, we are very fortunate. Then if we are not, we can consider that we can think of this path, because we will not regret even once if we get initiated. Until you are initiated, there are so many Shiksha Gurus to listen from. So they're also like spiritual masters. So there are two kinds of spiritual masters, Shiksha and Diksha. And lastly, Vyasadeva. Who was Vyasadeva? Vyasadeva is Lord himself. He wrote the literary incarnation Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Who can write? It's Lord himself. He will be empowered to do that. And he takes the instructions from a Jiva who is part and parcel of him, who is the son of Lord Brahma, Naradji. So Lord takes such a humble position as well in his pastimes, that sometimes he takes such a humble position, and he takes instructions from his own creations. I think that is to remind that, because that is the only way we as jivas would understand the importance, that how to take the humble seat, what is humility. We read about humility, we tell everybody about humility, but what is it? God actually gives us the living examples. And also when we look at Vyasadeva's life, he wrote so many things. So why he wrote so many things, Vedas and everything? Because he knew that the jivas coming are going to be so rebellious that they're not going to, even when Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or Bhagavad-Gita is explained nicely by an exalted person as a role model, people are not going to follow it, because of being born in the material world. Although we are higher than the material energy, we are the marginal energies, but material energy is so strong that we are fooled, just like a tiger's cubs among the goat. If he's living among the goats or the lambs, he starts thinking that I'm a lamb. He forgets his because he doesn't know better. He's just seen those lambs and goats around him. So this is what our situation is, and I was thinking Krishna must be thinking so patiently that my jivas, jago jiva, jago, why are you not waking up? Why are you still in the slumber? So we are just stuck. Everything has been provided. They say before getting the birth, every jiva is promising the Lord, because there's so many problems in that cage when in the womb of your mother. Just imagine. We need so much room, isn't it? Our arms want to extend, we want to stretch our legs, we want to stretch our bodies, and in that situation we are just totally engaged. That is the real imprisonment. And we promise before getting birth that, Lord, please release me from this situation. I will be doing your bhakti seriously, which I have avoided or ignored due to this or that reason when I was in the material world, in whichever birth I was or whichever species I was. But the moment we are born, the material energy is so strong. The attachments, the bondages are so strong and so powerful that we are shackled immediately. That's it. No looking back. And all the promises we were making before the birth, they are forgotten. And you know, when the baby is born, they say baby is so innocent, it smells so sweet, it's so nice, the way, but slowly we see as the baby grows, becomes a year old, 2. Lucky, some children are innocent till the age 5, 6, but nowadays the Maya is so strong that children, the moment they are able to hold something, they are able to control the gadgets. So this shows that the Maya is getting stronger and stronger as the Kali Yuga is progressing. So let us make most of these sessions of the scriptures, and let us use our internet and our gadgets in the right purpose, in the right way, you know, so that you can be good role models to your children. No point in hearing how to control the, how to get rid of the, you know, addictions of mobiles and this and that and devices for our children, but we have to be the good role models as the leaders in our houses or leaders in the congregation or in our, and let us pray to Srila Vyasdeva and Narad Muni that please keep us all who are all present in the call attached to this scripture till our last breaths. Hare Krishna.
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai,
Ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Thank you all for joining. We'll see you at the Rath Yatra and we'll catch up again next week. Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.